What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Valynt Volumes. This is your host, CEO Dan Spotsville.
And I'm Makayla Mitchell.
If you are a first-time listener, in this volume, we talk about everything business, entrepreneurship, but most importantly, how to win and kick ass in life.
Yeah, buddy. Speaking of winning,
Yes.
Valynt had the opportunity to go to an event hosted by the Frisco Chamber this week. Wow, it's Wednesday.
It was only 2 days
I'm
ago.
so confused on days.
Wait, 2 days
It
ago?
was yesterday.
Yes.
Damn it. But yeah,
Feels like it's been that long.
Yeah, we've
Like,
lived
so many
lives.
things have happened within 36 hours. Yeah.
So
Whatever
tell
that
me
is. Yeah.
what you thought of the event. I mean, the event was working with FIFA. So the Frisco Chamber put on the huge event where, you had to buy tickets in advance. It was completely sold out. Valynt had a table where our wonderful new logo that you are representing on your
Yes.
hoodie was on a table. So we had like a dedicated table with a couple of other businesses. And we got to learn from a few different speakers, including like Dan Hunt from the president of FC Dallas, right?
Yeah.
But we got to just learn about what it's going to be like for working with FIFA. So what was your takeaway? What'd you like?
Yeah, it was cool to see the team and all of our new merch. So I just want to point out to the Valyntpreneurs, we got new merch. You want some new merch? Let us know. Hit us up.
Yeah.
hello@valyntdigital.com.
We have Valynt
Yeah.
Digital merch.
And
I'm
then-
wearing Valynt
and then-
Volumes
yeah.
merch.
Let
And
me
then
see the back. Let me see the back.
back?
Let me see. Yeah, let me just.
Will it mess up the like?
Okay, see, I like that.
There you go.
Here, Amelia, let's show my back. Look.
The audio. Okay, so I have better flexibility than Dan.
Okay.
Moving on. We had new merch.
Yeah, but no. So to answer your question,
Yeah.
it was cool to really see, like, one, I did not expect all of those people to be there for this, but it made me realize the magnitude yesterday of what it means to have the FIFA World Cup being hosted in DFW. It's going to create so much opportunity for the city, for the people that are involved, and that trickles down into businesses like ourselves. I've met, and again, the chamber's putting on a great event here to where I was able to network with another Dan. Well, by the way, I just met another Dan too.
In the hallway?
Yeah.
So Dan was a speaker. You were a guest. You met a Dan. Like, I think
And then I just met a Dan just now.
Dan is a very popular name, apparently. I
Yeah.
mean, we're all like the same age,
I don't know.
generally.
No, I feel like I'm the youngest.
Okay, moving on.
But no, so look, got to meet a lot of great people. I even actually had like coffee this morning with
Oh, yeah.
with a Dan that's focused on like AI tech.
Which is actually what we're going to talk about
Yeah,
today.
I know.
Interesting.
So like,
Okay.
yeah, and the other interesting part is like when I was talking to him, and you were there, and so was Jagger and a couple other of our team members. Like I was like, yeah, I speak Japanese, and he was like, oh, I do too. And so I started speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
Because I'm native in that language, I'm fluent. Like he speaks it, and I found out this morning like his daughter, for the most part, speaks Japanese. So he talks to Japanese to his daughter, his wife, and he's trying to host an event in Japan too. So
Sugoi.
yeah,
I know Japanese too. Yeah. Means amazing.
Yeah, so a lot of different good synergy there. Was able to meet and connect with like real people again. Like every event that I go to, the Frisco Chamber hosts, it's just valuable, Like, and it's great to be able to participate in these things. So I'm looking forward to what's to come, and it just tells you the magnitude of what this means though, because they're already involving the community, and us being part of like the Frisco community now. It just tells you how big this thing's going to be, and how much preparation is going into being able to host the FIFA World Cup, and they're hosting 9 matches and the semifinals, so that's a big thing.
Yeah, they were talking about how just the amount of people that will be coming to the city.
The hotels and stuff. Yeah.
They're already looking at hotels being booked out, or like whatever the details actually were, but it was hotels from like the Oklahoma border all the way to Waco.
I believe it though.
Yeah. I mean, you think of fans, like all the crew that has to like work the events, the crew that works with the soccer teams themselves, like that's
their
crazy.
families,
Yeah.
the super fans. I mean, the World Cup is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, the Super Bowl's big. The World Cup is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it says it in its name, World Cup.
Yeah. It was definitely a really neat like opportunity, and we got to meet like actually in person some of the people that we've been like emailing back and forth with,
yeah, that
like
was
the
cool,
director
too.
of events, Shelby, like
Yeah.
the president, Crystal. Like
Yeah, it was great to see her
We got to
again.
actually shake their hands, give them a hug, and actually just like
Yeah.
be in the same room with them.
That's
which
good.
is cool.
Yeah, I really like those people.
I
Like
know.
it's cool to just be able to see them at these places that they put together. I mean, obviously they put it together.
Right.
So yeah, I had a great time, and
Yeah.
again, lots of connections, and I'm ready for the next one. Like, when's the next event? That's what I want to know.
Right. One thing that I noticed you doing, not only in the hallway here before we sat down to film, but also like at the event, was selling Luna. So, how's the launch been?
Look,
Yeah.
I'm pro whatever Valynt does, obviously.
Obviously.
And then the fact that this software took us a year to launch, from when we said, hey, let's do it last March, and now we launched it. Of course, I'm going to talk about it every opportunity I get. I mean, that's the only way you get the word out, right? I mean, obviously, we do paid advertising, so we're getting leads every single day now from the paid advertising for people that are interested in the software. But the launch went great. I mean, we launched, initially, I think we talked about this a little bit. We had like 300 plus companies respond within like a 48-hour period, which is awesome. But then since then, we've already closed clients. We've started to onboard people for this new software. I don't think it can go any better than how it's been going. And then even like now, like I just got introduced to somebody and I was like, hey, how do you use LinkedIn? Let me tell you more.
Yeah.
Like I'm just talking about the software because like I just believe in what it is that it's able to do for companies and really like benefit these people when it comes to what it is that they do on LinkedIn, and it has AI driven automation built into it. So I don't know. I just love talking about it.
I don't know if you saw the email come through today, but like yesterday I was following up with any person who like I got their business card and like met at the event.
Yeah.
One of them, you started to pitch like Luna because you asked, do you use LinkedIn for what you do?
There's
And
one question that you need to ask to get to
Yeah.
open up the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I emailed her, great to meet you, connected you and Jagger into the conversation further. Jagger followed up just pretty immediately with more information
As
about
he always
Luna,
does.
the calendar link. She responded today with
Oh, she did?
Yeah, so twice.
Really?
Yeah, okay. So the
Oh.
first one was just, being polite, inserting her business into there and how, we could help introduce her to more people. And then she made a note by saying, like, I'm going to share this with my marketing team. Within 5 hours, she's already emailed a second time with follow-up questions because they're interested.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, we'll talk the details after
Whoa,
this, but
okay.
because some of the questions that she's
Ooh,
asked
I'm
are
excited
not
now.
questions that I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with the answer quite yet, but yeah.
Really?
So people are biting.
Well, not people are biting. Like companies have already signed up for it.
People are eating it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I mean, people are signing up every single week since we've only launched it like less than 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, we have companies signing up every single week now.
Hell yeah. Well,
But I anticipate it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag or anything, but like, let's be real. We prepped for a year. You saw the amount of time and effort that we've placed, and the team, not only us two, but like the entire team, took their time to learn the software, to talk through like the steps on how to onboard somebody, how to, to educate a potential client on the software. So like, you just know the amount of hours and hours that we spent to do it.
Yeah.
So I expect nothing less than what it is that we're seeing.
Yeah. I actually had a question for you that I thought might come up later in conversation, but I want to bring it up now because so today I want to talk about like AI and social media, and how that works into advertising. But I mean, Luna's an AI automation software. So my question is like, how did you know it was the right time to insert an AI based like software into the business?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, like add this new service.
Yeah, see, I didn't come prepared for this. So like that is a great question.
So fun fact, you asked me not to share all the questions. You didn't want to be prepared. You wanted to think of it on the spot. Cause let's be honest. Like we talk all the time. We work together, and so sometimes it's not as in depth of a conversation as we do off camera. So
Right. Yeah.
let's
No,
try to
that's
bring it
true.
here.
So how did I know it's the right time? Look, when you're in business for quite some time and you get to the level that we're at, like I do have a gut feeling and I have a pulse on like our industry and where things are headed, right? Because I'm just in it day in and day out. So like I kind of know where like the puck is going in a hockey sense. Like I just know where it's headed. And it's not hard to see through like other industries, like, AI is a conversation. And then you start to look at like, we've already been doing automation. That's the thing. Like we've been doing automation for years and years and years. the addition of AI into this automation to me was a no brainer because it was like, who's going to be the first to move to the market? I actually watched other companies provide this solution, and I was like, I could have hopped on to like other softwares, but I was like, no, we should do our own thing. And then once I made that decision, I was seeing where other companies were being successful at. So I was just kind of like watching from the sidelines as we kind of were preparing our stuff. So it's been a long time that I knew that we wanted to do this, and I've had a sense of, that this was going to be something that people just wanted anyway.
Yeah.
So like just had to do with the fact that, was our team prepared, and do we have the right team members in place to be able to push this software out, to make sure that when we do push it out, and we started this 2 weeks ago, we're able to give these new clients who are software clients the attention that they deserve,
Yeah. I think people, I mean, part of the reason I asked that question is because like there's every movie out there about AI, and it being a scary thing. So like, how did you know it was the right time to bring it into the business? So appreciate you answering that. But like, let's dive a little deeper into like what AI actually is. So the word is artificial intelligence, right? But like, what exactly to you, like, what are the different tools that you use like AI in every day? Because you just said like AI can be an automation. Like, what other ways do you actively use AI, whether it's personal, for business? Like, can you touch on that?
Yeah. I'll keep it like very like high level as much as I can, but like for most of the Valyntpreneurs listening, they should be familiar with like ChatGPT. I think like half the world doesn't know what ChatGPT is just yet. But look, I was one of the first people that, signed up, started using it, and then I dished it out to the team, and I was telling everybody about it. So like, one, I keep track of technology to begin with, but I was using that for like emails first. Like when I write emails, like I would write it, and because maybe my Japanese side, I'll start to kind of see things backwards. Like, so you'll see my emails, like you've seen this come through, like what should be in the back is in the front, and what's in the front should be in the back of the sentence. So I'll just copy, like I'll take my thoughts, write it down, I'll copy it, and I'll just put the simple prompt, rewrite it as insert, like, my job title, to a person. Like it takes me 10 seconds to do that. And then I copy and paste the email, and then it would just spit it out beautifully.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, this is crazy. So like what used to take me like, 15 minutes, 10 minutes to like toggle back and forth. I jot my thoughts down on how I want to respond, copy it, paste it into ChatGPT or whatever software I use now, and it just gives it to me in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's how I started using it. And then we started inserting it into our clients and our automation, like email, like AI-driven emails, AI-driven text messages, AI-driven LinkedIn connections. But then also into our internal team, remember, like we used to have, we do copywriting. So, I mean, it's no secret to our clients either that we use AI software that's not ChatGPT to write copy to make it much better than what we're able to do on our own. But then there's also that human element that's inserted into the copywriting that we do.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we're about to do, I haven't shared with the team. Well, I did like a couple weeks ago, is taking everything that we do at Valynt Digital, putting it into this AI software, and it becomes our knowledge base. So you can ask this.
Oh yeah.
You can ask this platform literally like, hey, what's the cost of this at Valynt Digital? It'll spit it back out to you. You can ask it like, hey, what client is on this service? It'll go to Notion, the Notion board, which is like our CRM and project management tool. It'll house all that information, so you can ask it questions and it'll respond. It's like having a personal assistant at work.
Yeah.
For like all of our team members get a personal assistant at work.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right?
It's like the robots. But see, the thing is, so there was a quote that I did like, I didn't grasp the full thing, but it talks about how AI is the science of making machines smart. And I know you said that, ChatGPT is like one of the first AI tools that
That's
you started
what everybody
using.
knows.
But it's even simpler than that, because if you think about it, like predictive text, that's artificial intelligence. Like whenever you're typing on the computer and it tells you what the rest of the sentence should be, or like what the autocorrect like word is, or like Siri, that's artificial intelligence. Or
is it so? Like you're saying, like that's considered like machine learning, right?
Yeah. Like it's like when I was like looking at like AI over the last couple of days, and just like it started with AI content generation, which I'll share with you a few more details of like what that means. But I just started looking into like, what are people thinking about using AI in advertising, AI for content creation for like influencers, and how people are using what seems like a scary thing from like, robots in the movies. Like really how is AI in everyone's life? And when I started thinking about it simply, I was like predictive text
Yeah.
or like Siri, that's AI too, artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
allocating ad budget through like an ads manager when you can like set it to monitor it, like that's artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah, so like AI can be like you just mentioned a couple different things. Like people should know like AI one is not going anywhere, and two, AI, whether you realize it or not, like the forward thinking companies and people of this world have already integrated it into their day to day process and are actively using it. So like as a business, I should say this, as a Valyntpreneur, if you're listening, if you're not using AI and figuring out how to integrate that AI technology into your day to day, whether it's in sales, whether it's in operations, whether it's for your team, and like, SOP, like inserting an SOP with AI driven tech and having like an assistant that your team can talk to every single day, you are going to lose to companies that are doing that because they're becoming more efficient. And what takes you, let's just say, for example, what takes you like 5 hours to do, they're doing in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so like, I can't wait till we insert this, AI driven software into our company here in the next couple of weeks to where we're putting all of it, like we're dumping all of our Zoom calls. Like I'm talking about like every single Zoom call, every sales document, every SOP that we've ever written, connecting it to our CRM platform, to the Notion platform, to our ad accounts. Like, it's like a, what do you call it? What's that? From the movie The Iron Man, what's this, Jarvis, was that his name, Jarvis? Yeah, it's like having your own Jarvis. Like,
It's like a butler. That sounds like a butler's name.
it's not a butler.
Okay.
Is it a butler?
It sounds like a robot butler's name.
Okay,
Anyways,
well, look,
okay.
but it's like having, like I'm having Jarvis right here,
Okay.
and I can just talk to it and it'll respond back, and before you know it, I don't know, like I'm excited about it. And it, can I just say one more thing? Like,
Yeah, of course.
I know I talked about this again before too, but there's this software that we're testing out, to where it'll make outbound calls for any business in any industry. And the examples that I heard too was for like insurance companies and real estate deals, but talking to clients to book them on somebody else's calendar for like their sales agents, and or transferring live calls. And this also works for like when you generate a lead online and the lead comes in, instead of having like callers fielding the calls, you have this AI fielding the call, asking questions. I took a phone call as an example. You cannot tell the difference that it's not AI. You cannot tell
That's
the difference.
crazy.
And even the pause, like I'm telling you, it is like us having a conversation and you cannot tell that it is not a person on the other side.
Yeah.
And if somebody's listening to this right now and saying, well, yeah, the last one I heard, you could tell like it's not a person. Well, you probably listened to the old shit. Like I've listened to the one from last week and I've interacted with this AI platform and software for outbound and inbound calls. Flawless, almost.
Yeah.
Flawless.
It made me think, same but different, but like on the topic of AI, I used to like in meetings sit there and take crazy notes, like notes that
Yeah, who takes notes
that-
anymore?
yeah, but like notes that weren't even English practically, because I was trying to get all the information that I know if I look back at it, I could then type it out like in full sentences, right? Because there's so much happening. Now, I think everyone on the team actually has like a bot that joins on their Zoom meetings and it takes notes from the whole meeting. It's like actually transcribes it. But then also when you go to the platform, it'll show you, here's the takeaways, here's the questions that were asked. Like I even noticed in our G chat today, when you sent a message, when I opened up the G chat, instead of reading the full message, it said right above your message, Dan will be in and out of office tomorrow. Like it recapped it for me. Like that's AI right there too. And like you save so much time instead of taking notes or having a note taker. Like the reason I want to bring up like all those like little things that are in our day-to-day life is because I think people just have this perception that like AI is big, bad, and scary. And it's like all these very complex things. And while it is very complex to have your phone do things with just speaking to it, like we use it in our day to day. So like I don't think everyone should be so afraid to like take on the next thing and use it for business like you described,
I would agree with that, but I think you would agree when I say that with every good thing there's always the flip side of it. I think it's like our cell phones, right? Like there are still those people that and especially when cell phones came out and there's still this conversation of like cell phones are bad for people, they get addicted. There's less interaction within the human, like people are are, you know, on their cell phone when they're eating dinner and not talking to their family, or like when they're with their partners, like at a restaurant, they're not talking to each other. They're just on their phones, like sending fucking memes to each other or something like that. That, yeah, I get it. That's the bad part. But on the flip side, you get to communicate with somebody that you need to, like a loved one, across the world when they're traveling. You got the safety component of it to where, you know, when somebody lands in a different state and they're flying from, you know, point A to point B, like, you know that they're safe, and you can FaceTime real quick.
Yeah.
You can FaceTime with grandma. So like there's all the positive side of things, and but there's also the negative side depending on who the person is that's using that technology. And I think it's no different with AI tech, to where, can it be abused? Absolutely. I mean, there's crazy things. I know at my level what you can do with AI that is negative, but then also on the flip side, like, we use it for positive things and enhancing our lives, not only our lives, but our clients and our team members' lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, look, the copywriters are happy, but then it's like those copywriters that, like, you know, that may be potentially listening to this, that are upset, saying like it's going to take away your job. No, it's not. Like within our agency, like, we're not trying to hire less people because like there's AI and copywriting enhances the copywriting part of it. It just makes everything faster and more efficient. So like, it's not that we need less copywriters, you know. You just got to integrate yourself and learn how to use the technology. It's like creating content, like videos. You can give, I mean, I've shared some of this with you. You put a prompt in, it's like it's like a Hollywood movie. Like, you can make movie scenes and stuff like that, and it's only getting scarier and better, and you can't tell the difference anymore. You can even clone yourself.
I don't know if you knew this, did this intentionally, but that's a perfect transition into like
Oh,
all these
really?
little things that
Oh,
I
okay.
had.
Yeah.
I realized while you were talking that like here I am saying AI is not scary, and then I'm like looking at my notes like I brought some pretty scary points.
Yeah.
So with the content, like the AI generated content, you asked me earlier why I picked this topic today. So I was on TikTok, and are you familiar with TikTok enough to know where like at the bottom when it says somebody's like name in the description of the video, it might say like paid for, or it earns commission, that like, little button there?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen one now that says AI generated content?
Oh, I haven't noticed it, but like, but I remember like hearing or reading or something about how do we differentiate like the type of content that's being posted on these social media platforms. So maybe that's what that is.
Yeah. So basically, a lot of the, I mean, Facebook. So something I learned, Alphabet. I didn't realize that was like the main company for like Meta and Google, I think, right? I didn't realize that was the name of like their main company. But either way, they made a pact where they're going to, it's like still being determined, like the right policies and guidelines for AI generated content, which I thought was like interesting. But TikTok last September launched this like AI generated content label that you can put on there yourself, or it can get flagged by TikTok, where it would say it's creator labeled as AI generated or AI generated. So if you as a creator decide to select that label, it like shows that the users, hey, this person like is admitting that this is AI generated.
Sure.
Or TikTok can go in and like flag it itself, not like take it away, but add that label to it. And so while it was launched in September, only like the last month or so, it's really started to like be put into action. And there were some interesting like differentiations about like how do you define if it's okay AI generated stuff like that, right? So it was basically saying that you are, let me show you. So examples of AI generated content like on TikTok, right? So it's a video featuring a real person speaking whose image, voice, or words are altered or modified by AI. Video or image featuring a scene or event that occurred in the real world but has been altered or modified, and then entirely AI generated videos of like real or fictional people and places.
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward. But then when it talks about like what's prohibited, the type of AI generated content that's prohibited is of a public figure when used for political or commercial endorsements.
That's the first thing I was going to go to. Like, what are they going to do with the election that's coming up, and how are people going to utilize AI in a negative way?
Yeah, so that's a great point. Like there was an article that I was reading saying that Meta so Meta was starting to enforce and really develop like their own policies around this, where they have their own label that's imaged with AI
Mm-hmm.
that's right now only used for photorealistic images. And the reason that they're developing more policies around this is because of the number of upcoming elections worldwide.
Of course. And if we want to, for the listeners that didn't see our other volume that where I talk about how much politicians on both parties spend, left and right, they're spending 20, 30, 40 million dollars a week
Yeah.
from one party to convince their base and the other base to vote for them. So like you couple that with AI driven, capabilities, and obviously if they're spending that much, they have the resources to be able to create positive and not so positive type of
Yeah.
messaging, maybe even from either candidates. Like being able to tell the difference, I think is going to be a huge thing because you cannot tell the difference right now. Because if it's done correctly, and I've seen it done correctly so many times with certain people that I follow online and certain companies, unless there's a label, you are not going to be able to tell the difference,
Yeah.
especially on your phone screen. And it's not that the image is blurred. And look, these AI made video. I think I shared one with you yesterday about this girl. Like it's going viral, but it's an AI like driven, like created video. I mean, you can't tell the difference if you're listening to this person for 15, 20, 30 seconds. And that's all it takes to convince somebody of something that's false, like not to be true because a public figure said it or somebody with some sort of influence that said it. So I think that's a very like dangerous part of AI and how it can be like abused. And I just don't see, like, I don't see from my level how you're able to like contain that and
But
monitor that and do all of that.
But listen to this. Okay, so like TikTok says though, and this is like on TikTok's website for their support page. It does say that the AI generated content that is prohibited entirely, like I said, the public figure, political, commercial, and then it defines public figure as an adult over the age of 18 with a significant public role, including celebrity. Also, AI generated content that's prohibited entirely on TikTok includes a private figure. So we define a private figure as any person who isn't public, including people under 18. So it's literally saying
Anybody.
Anybody that is a real person can't be done. It's like, it's confusing because can I do it or can I not do it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just my takeaway is that it sounds like you can't do it.
Yeah. So
look, we're not gonna know like how it plays out until like September, October, but I'm very curious. Like I have a genuine interest of how this thing plays out like in the next 6 months, because in 6 months we're gonna see what's gonna be happening on social media, and
So-
it's a huge thing.
right now Meta is actually building tools that can detect AI generated content through invisible markers on the images like watermarks or metadata. They're in the process of doing
I
that.
understand that. Yeah.
And they're also, I mean, another point I had was like Meta's actually penalizing people if they don't label it properly, but versus like YouTube, there's kind of like a gray area with them because what does it say? Oh, YouTube basically allows like, the exception for like filters, like beauty filters. I mean, that's AI filter on something, like that's allowed, any color correction like that.
Yeah.
But right now YouTube, they started enforcing things about a month after Meta, but they're kind of doing it on like the honor system of enforcement and they're not like penalizing people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with all three of these platforms, what I thought was interesting is that AI generated content can be monetized.
Of course
you
it
can
can.
make, I don't know why, but I thought that was so interesting. So like, tell me your thoughts on it.
I mean, why couldn't you monetize it? Because if like there's that article or I saw a video on this too. Like, and I read a blog article about it, about an AI figure like online making like 10K or 15K a month. Obviously, like it's somewhat like explicit, but it's an AI like generated, figure. And
Wait, was you explicit like they were doing like inappropriate things?
I think so, from
okay.
what I understood. Yeah.
Oh.
But it's AI. And look, I've come across like these things like online. I've come across blogs. I've come across videos. Like it's just out there because like certain people that I follow talk about AI from different perspectives, and these are some of the things that they'll touch on within the videos that they talk about, like AI driven like content, right? That these people that I follow. So I mean, what's the difference if an AI driven figure creates millions of views and gets people to subscribe to their channel like it's an AI figure, it's not a real person, of course you're
Yeah.
gonna make money. What's the difference?
Yeah.
It's like having like those Japanese people like weird, weird. Sometimes they're weird, but
Right.
like me being Japanese, I think I can say that. But like they have like those. I remember from like elementary school, right? They would have video games to where you can have like a video game girlfriend and you can interact with it, and that was like on Super Nintendo back in like the late '90s.
Yeah.
And that like now they have that even more, and then now they got robots. Let's not even get into that. And then you put an AI chip in it. I mean, this thing can go crazy.
Crazy. Well, I have a
Yeah.
couple of examples that
Uh-huh.
YouTube gave users specific examples of AI content that will require labels. So,
Okay.
surf fake was one of them. So, it's AI generated footage of a surfer in Maui used for a promotional travel video.
Okay.
Do you think that should be labeled as fake? Like as AI generated? Do you think? Because one thing, let me start with this. One thing that YouTube said is that the AI generated content that should have labels should be something that is super realistic looking. So, like, it's hard to tell if it was fake or not, or meaningful things.
I
So,
don't get it.
here's examples of things that like should have labels. So,
Okay.
the fake surfer for an ad. An unnatural disaster, so a realistic image of a tornado that didn't actually happen moving towards a real city, which triggers a thought because like a couple months ago, the Eiffel Tower was on fire. Did you hear about this?
No.
It was totally fake. Somebody did like an AI video of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, like
Yeah.
on fire, and,
and
it
it
was
goes up.
everywhere.
Yeah, but then see, but that's the thing, right? So like you can cause like chaos or like
Yeah.
you can cause false information to travel. Like what is it? Like bad news travels like 10x faster, or like whatever x faster than
Yeah.
good news. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it just goes back to like the election, and like I don't like to talk about politics too much, but like just at a very surface level, there's so much that can happen with this AI stuff. And I think from that perspective, I can understand why people are afraid. And then I've said this from a long time ago, like I don't trust the things that I see on social media. Like I have to be able to verify that myself. There's too many things out there now that you just can't verify.
Yeah.
You know, it's only getting like harder to understand what's real, what's not.
Yeah. Two of the other examples that I'll share with you. One was of a hospital refusing, hospital workers refusing sick or wounded patients, or a car chase forgery, a synthetically generated video of a famous car chase scene in a movie showing a celebrity who wasn't in the original film.
Oh yeah. Or like I've seen like deep fakes of like Tom Cruise like mopping a floor or something. Like I was like, what is Tom Cruise doing mopping a floor?
During COVID, I remember there was like,
Yeah.
it was a Tom Cruise and like Paris Hilton deep fakes.
They
And
look real though.
it's like, I don't have the definition here. So I'm like genuinely asking you, like, what does it mean to be a deep fake? Is it just something like a person's looks so real, or?
Yeah, so deep fake is like taking, from my understanding, and I don't think this is an entire definition. I could be like really
Yeah.
off here, but like let's just say we shoot a video like this right now, but then it's superimposing like somebody else's, like let's just say Caroline's face on you, and then like Nathan's face on me, and then having that conversation like it was them that did it, like
Gotcha.
deep fake.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So from what I understanding, like it's already created footage, and then you're putting like somebody else's face on there, or like changing what's there, and it looks still real. And I'm sure like right now, like deep fakes can be generated without even like real footage to begin with, and just generate it from nothing.
yeah, because I don't have all the details on this one either, but it's like there was the Taylor Swift like fiasco where there was like a major deep fake about her, and now there's like a lawsuit going out because it might have been like defamation of name or something. But
Yeah, I kind of heard about that.
so like, what do you think the parameters should be on
Well-
AI for labeling content specifically?
Yeah, I just think it's going to be very difficult to control it, because like what are you going to take everybody's internet access away? I mean, that's the only way you can control it, right?
Yeah.
Because you need the internet to be able to do this stuff.
Yeah.
You need some sort of connection to be able to use the software. But then I don't know how you control it. I don't think you can.
I'm just thinking about like the car chase made me think of this, of like if I created a major deep fake, or if I created this AI generated content, and I didn't put a label on it saying it was AI generated, but I just said like, oh, it's a movie, it's pretend, like, is that okay? Like, is the problem that people are trying to get away with it like being real, like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It kind of blurs the lines of like with the AI generated content. It's like it blurs the lines of like creativity almost, because like there's all these people who would do it for bad, and
But
we talk about politics, but like,
yeah, I mean, it's just there's just so much to uncover there. You know, it's just so difficult. Like if I was in the position of like having to make rules around this, it is a very difficult task because like there's what if this, what if that. I mean, just between our short conversation here, we can think of a million scenarios on one, how it can be used to for the good and for the bad, and then two, like so many different ways depending on which side you sit on with this topic, on how do you manage this, how do you control it to where it doesn't get out of hand, how do you um, like tackle those people that are using it for the wrong reason and stuff. So I think it's a very touchy subject, and a very difficult one too,
for specifically for like AI generated content. So
but for our sake we stick with just marketing and day-to-day operation stuff, that's what we use it for.
Like out of all of the articles that I was looking at on this topic, the one like in summary I want to share is like quoted like Meta and YouTube's parent company Alphabet. So they're a part of a couple of different tech companies that actually signed a pact like this last month to combat AI generated misinformation ahead of the 2024 election. Google, Meta, TikTok, they have their AI guidelines already in place, but they're not necessarily maybe to the full extent that they could be, because clearly, as I was sharing with you about the TikTok ones, like it says you can have it, but then you can't have people, So it's kind of confusing, but then X is still the one that's like not necessarily explicitly mentioned anything for AI, and Snapchat has not responded yet. So
yeah, but if you know this about AI, it's defined as machine learning. So it changes forms, it changes. We as human beings, I think I'm correct to say this, don't know how far and what AI's entire capabilities are, which means how do you put parameters around something where you don't know what it's capable of doing? And that's the scary part, I think, and the way to conclude this conversation is that how do you control something when you don't know what its entire capabilities are?
Yeah.
It's like, when at a very like lower level conversation, if you know a basketball player is good at shooting threes and can dribble to their right, then you know how to contain that person. You stop them from shooting threes and you make them go left, right? That's how you contain them. But with AI, like you don't know what its skill sets are. You don't know like what it's learning, because it's learning every day, which means it changes every minute, every hour. It's not, and it does it at such a fast rate versus like a human being learning a skill set takes, hours and days and years and months or whatever, right? But AI just learns it just like that. I mean, right now, like AI learns something new. Every millisecond, every second it's learning. You can't contain something like that. So it's like once you open it up, like, I mean, it's, what's the American saying? The cat's out of the bag.
But there's also like Pandora's box is like a story, a myth, a lore. I don't know.
But do you follow me with what I'm saying? Is like it's already out now. So like, what do you mean contain it? You can't contain it. I mean, there's no way to contain it.
I mean, the quote I literally shared.
What are you gonna cut the cord? You got to cut the cord to contain it.
Yeah, the quote I shared earlier is AI is the science of making machines smart. Like making it smarter, getting better.
Right. So I mean, if you don't know what it's capable of doing entirely, then how do you put rules around it?
Yeah.
You just got to kill it.
Ooh, and on that note, well, that's all I had. I think we definitely touched a lot about AI, the positive ways that we're using it, that businesses can use it.
Yep.
The scary parts about AI generated content. I mean, who knows? I mean, by the time this is out, there'll be 43 Valynt volumes on YouTube. People could start making content of us.
Yeah,
it's like the more content there is of somebody or something, the more that can be made of it. So.
Yeah, and just a random thought. Yeah. Shout out to the person whoever took my clip and put it on their thing, because that was the first time I saw somebody using our clip. Remember?
Yeah.
I felt happy for whatever reason.
I think they wanted us to use their service, though. Remember? I was like, "Oh, so cool! Somebody took our clip and edited it." And then I was like,
they just want to sell.
And I was like, "What do they do? Oh, they do editing for videos. They want us to hire them." Got it. Either way, it was flattering, though. Yeah. So. Okay, well, that's all for this volume. To all the Valyntpreneurs who are listening, thank you for tuning in for another volume. If you liked this episode, us talking about AI and kind of the flow of how we did this conversation and hot topics, diving a little bit deeper, more of our personal thoughts too, let me know at hello@valyntdigital.com. And if you have any other questions for us to bring up, do some more Q&As, would love to answer those as well. So thanks for tuning in.
Until next
Anything
time.
else?
No,
All
until
right.
next time.
Peace.